This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. And welcome to this episode of the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. I am your host, John Allen. It's quite the beautiful day here in Norway, but I can't help but, at least symbolically, when I look towards the west, towards the shores of my beloved USA, that I see some clouds of doubt, clouds of despair, a cloud over democracy. 6 January 2021, a date which will live in infamy. To put it clearly, on January 6, 2021, Washington D.C, a violent mob of seditionists, terrorists who support it almost hurts me to say the words President Trump. These people who support President Trump attacked the United States Capitol building. I don't know about you, but I can't help but interpret that as quite the direct attempt to overthrow the government. And I can't help but, and I resist this. I don't want to think this, but this is, I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at what happened. I heard what this man said. He whipped up this crowd and sent them on their way, and then they did what they did. There's a direct connection. It's not politics. It's fact. It played out like an action movie right in front of us. And these people who did this, they're followers of a movement that Donald Trump started 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago, when he started running for president of the United States. It all started with the birther movement. This crazy conspiracy that President Obama was not an American citizen. He wasn't like us, as Trump put it at the time. It all started with that. And I can remember people saying, I said that this kind of thinking, this kind of movement, this kind of commonality of twisted thought could lead to exactly what we saw on the 6th of January. I said it at the time. A lot of political pundits said it at the time. I'm far from a political pundit, but I am a thinking, breathing human. And, if you get past the rhetoric, if you get past the politics, if you get past the tribalism and the allegiance to party, if you get past all of that, you can't help but see things for what they are. And what we see is an act of sedition, an attempted overthrow, an attempted coup of the government. It's disgusting, people. It's sickening. It's disgusting. I still have a little bit of sympathy, however, for Trump supporters in general, because he's been feeding these people with false hope over the past 4 or 5 years. False hope, John? What are you talking about? What kind of false hope? He put in people in his supporters. He put in He put in this hope that they could get back something that they had lost. I'll say it straight up. I've said it before. I've lost friends over it, but there are so many white people who couldn't stand it that a black man was president. They couldn't stand it that President Obama was, in fact, our president. They lost their minds. They lost their sense of reason. And Trump saw that, and he exploited it, and he gained a following, and he led them on the path to what we saw on 6 January 2021. Now, some people are coming to their senses. His own former Attorney General, Bill Barr, Bill Bar None, as he's come to be known as. Even he said Trump's actions, and I quote, were, and I quote, a betrayal of his office and his supporters. And one key element in that statement is that we're naming his supporters. They have been betrayed by Trump. Now, the Republican Party has always been, and especially the last 4 years, has been the party of personal responsibility. So these people who were in the Capitol building threatening the lives of our congressmen and women, threatening the lives of the life of the vice president even, those people must stand responsible for their own actions. But again, I have a small amount of pity for them because they were led astray by this maniac in the White House. It's in human nature. It's a societal flaw that when we hear things loud enough and often enough, we start to believe it. Although it may be devoid of all fact, we may start believing it. The ideology, the idea, the words, they may be devoid of fact, but we start believing them when we hear them often enough and loud enough. And then you put on top of it that the person who is spreading these lies is at the very top of the president is supposed to be the leader of our nation. We're supposed to look to him or her for guidance. They are our top, most visible representative. So I get it that some people kind of, I get it that people were led astray. So shame on the people who did what they did. Shame on those who took part in this insurrection, this attempted coup. But shame on this person who calls himself, he wears the title of president. Shame on him. Shame on you, Donald Trump. He'll never hear this. He'll never hear this. But I'll say it anyway. Shame on you, you disgusting human being, you. Shame on you. Would you ever have thought that our nation's president would lead a coup, would incite a coup? Because let me back up a little bit. He didn't lead anything. He's a coward. He told those people during his rally that he was having right before the coup attempt, he told them, march down the street, go to the Capitol building. I'll be there with you, he said. And I quote him, I'll be there with you, he said. Was he there? No. So I can't say that he led these people into a coup attempt, but he did incite a coup attempt. He did plant the seed. He did pour the water. He did provide the sunshine that allowed this coup to grow. It all stems from the seed that this man planted. You guys have seen on the news. You guys know how bad this is. This is not to be set at the same level as. Let me back up. Black Lives Matter protests over the summer are not to be set at the same level as this act of insurrection, this coup attempt. Big difference. Was there violence at the Black Lives Matter protests? Of course there was. We all saw it. I'm against that. I'm against violence at protests. But I'm not against the protest. Black lives do matter. The nation needed to hear that protest, still does. As long as I have to worry about being treated differently because of the color of my skin, as long as I have to worry about not having the same opportunities laid before me that other people have because of the color of my skin, there should be a Black Lives Matter movement. Now, having said that, the Black Lives Matter organization is failing enormously, in my opinion. They're failing. They have a huge messaging problem. They need more of a centralized mission. That's a whole nother podcast. Point is, You cannot equate the Black Lives Matter protests over the summer with this insurrection, with this attempt to overthrow the government of the United States. Two completely different situations. You guys have seen it on the news. You know what happened. You know what these people have done. You heard them threatening quite clearly. They were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." You heard it. You saw them break into our building of the building where we make our laws. The heart and soul of our government is the legislative branch. The crown jewel of our democracy is our election process. You guys saw what these people were there to do. You heard what the president wanted them to do. You've heard his lies over the last month or two about the election process. If there was any truth in his accusations about the election being unfair, then that would have come out in court. Where was his proof? Why did none of his fanatical lawyers present any tangible proof in these, 60 lawsuits that were taken up? Why was there no proof that was presented? There was no proof because it's all a bunch of lies that come from the mouth of this so-called president of the United States. He might get impeached. He might be getting impeached right now. At the moment, it's 3:15 in the afternoon in Norway, which is 9:15 a.m. on the East Coast in the United States. And if I understood things correctly, the House was supposed to start the impeachment process at 9 o'clock this morning. For all I know, it's been said and done. From what I understand, it's going to be a very short process. You have probably all of the Democrats will vote to impeach him, and there's a handful of Republicans who are on board. So our lawmakers agree with what I'm saying. I don't want to put myself in a position of arrogance, so I will say I agree with what our lawmakers are saying, that this president has committed an impeachable offense. Many would say it's a criminal offense in addition, but our lawmakers have pretty much agreed that he has committed an impeachable offense. Even Mitch McConnell is reported to be on board with this impeachment process. What do you guys say to that, you Trump supporters who also by proxy were McConnell supporters? What do you say to that? Now McConnell says that your president, your leader, has committed impeachable offenses. What do you say to that now? Can you calm down? Can you put down your pitchforks? Or are you still going to march on the Capitol building try and disrupt the inauguration coming up on the 20th? Are you still going to march on the Capitol and try and take your country back? When are we going to see reason? When is reason and logic and honesty going to prevail again in the United States? I predicted this summer, I said it this summer, this man is going to end up doing something to get himself impeached again. Call me clairvoyant, but I predicted it this summer that this man was going to do something again to get impeached. And here we are. Here we sit. But you know what? I get no satisfaction from that. I get no satisfaction. Quite the opposite. Oh, I'm on a rant. I've been saving this up. I almost got on the mic already on the 6th of January, but I wanted to remove emotion from any podcast that I would do on this subject. So I figured I would wait until the 7th. I wasn't ready on the 7th. Still too much emotion, and so on and so on and so on. So here I am today, telling you, obviously, how I feel, obviously, telling you my opinion. And again, this has nothing to do with politics. I'm not a politician. I'm not a political pundit. I'm an American citizen with a very clear understanding of what America is supposed to be about. And this is not what America is supposed to be about. Sitting with me on the mic, quite patient and quite silent for once, is the illustrious Snoopy. Hello, Snoop.
Hello, Miss Reese.
I can't believe you. I think in our entire time together, I think that's the longest you ever let me speak.
You're probably right about that.
Was it hard?
Yeah, it was hard. I wanted to say something all the time. And of course, now I can't remember everything you said. But I have a couple of comments, of course.
What comments do you have?
Well, I can start with the last because that's what I remember. You said that you said it that he will be impeached again or do something impeachable.
Remember, I was saying that this summer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you remember before he got elected what we talked about? What's wrong with that man? He is what? A psychopath. I don't, and
he's incapable. I don't think he's capable of having any feelings for anyone other than himself. Everything he says and does is in his own interest. The country is the country is falling apart. Look what happened in his own capital. That's his. This is his Washington. He's the leader of the United States, and he incited this tragedy, this sedition, this coup attempt.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
That tells me that he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Here's the thing. As a non-citizen of the United States, as a foreigner, looking at all this stuff going on, all the way from back when he was doing his campaign, when he opened his mouth, what came out? Just mumble bumble. It was just nothing solid. He repeated himself. He repeated
in a way that politicians don't do. Politicians get into that double speak, but this was different.
There was no substitute whatsoever. Substance whatsoever. You could take what he said, and still are saying, and it's like Jello, you know.
There's no substance at all.
There's nothing.
Nothing that he says can stand on its own. Mm-mm. If you remove your emotion, if you remove your tribalism, your tribalistic loyalty to this man, and if you look what happens whenever I get into a discussion with a Trump supporter, and I ask them for some factual basis for what they're saying, and they can't do it. It always turns into whataboutism. Well, Hillary. Will Biden, will Obama, remove all of that from, if you take that out of their arsenal and you tell them to just base what they're saying on facts.
But here's the thing.
They can't do it.
Here's the thing. If you look at him, what he has done, how he talks, and what he is doing, it is not very hard to predict what he will be doing. And that is what we talked about already when he got elected. We said that this man is a danger to not only United States, but also to the world. And that because the United States is like the biggest country and all that, with the most powerful country.
Yeah, I saw an article, I believe it was from Dogs of East, and there's some guy, I've never heard of him before, but I believe he's an American / Norwegian. He has dual citizenship here in Norway, posting all kind of crazy stuff on Twitter about patriots in Norway rise up and this, that, and the other. And it's almost jaw-dropping that you would have the same Trumpist ideology being spoken from the streets of Norway.
Yeah, that's just crazy. But
why is there a place for that here in Norway?
No, we can get back to that. But the thing is
hey,
that...
wait a minute. I'm the podcast host. You don't get to ignore my questions.
But see, you disturb my way of thinking, not talking
ahead,
and all that. See, now you
Snoopy.
throw me totally off.
No, go ahead.
That's not nice.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not sorry.
Yes, say that again.
I'm not sorry. There
yes,
you go.
you are sorry. You should be sorry.
No, go ahead. Well, I don't understand why there's a place for that in Norway. Why are people latching on to his...
Be quiet.
Boy.
The thing is...
This is the Coming Home podcast with John Allen.
Now it's with me. So, the point is that United States is the democratic country that people look to in order to learn democracy.
Yes.
It is
the prime example of democracy.
Shh.
I'm agreeing with you. Preach, girl.
Yeah. It is the pedestal of the free world.
Yes.
It is what, and it's the most powerful country and in the world, and they are our allies. And yes, I don't have any say-so in American politics. I don't. But you know what? It affects me. It affects my country. It affects me. And of course, it affects me because I have now family that are American citizens. But beyond that, it affects the whole world, how things are going in the United States with everything.
Yes.
And when Trump got into office, what did I say? This guy reminds me of a psychopath. He's a danger. And the more we see of him, I mean, I'm sitting here with the list of what is a psychopath. I don't think I've ever, and I talk about this at work with my colleagues. Last night, actually, I have never seen in my life, I guess, a more classic psychopath than Donald Trump. He is incapable of empathy.
Yep.
And he's everything has to do with him.
Yep.
He is incapable of seeing his own flaws or faults.
Yep.
And because of that, he's also incapable of learning from his flaws, because in his mind, in his world, he is perfect.
Yeah. So what does he have to learn? Yeah, I have nothing to learn.
And that
I'm
just
perfect.
And that's why you and me were talking about when he was indicted this summer.
Impeached.
Impeach. And then what was it? Some Republicans or Democrats or whatever, some people there in the States said, well, he'll learn his lesson. No, he hasn't.
Republicans. I can't remember her name, but she's the, and here's proof that I'm not a political pundit because I cannot remember this woman's name. She was the senator from Maine. I can't remember her name. She's the one that said, well, he's learned his lesson now.
No, he's incapable of learning.
Yeah.
And you see also now, he should have just tuck his tail in and run. He should be running away, you know, but he's not. Because
it's fascinating
in his world, he is not.
It's fascinating to see because he's not humiliated. He's not embarrassed. He's not. He just keeps on going.
Yep.
I'm sure someone told him that he is going to be. They're looking at him for his liability, his responsibility in the uprising in this attempted coup. I'm sure someone told him to be careful what you say going forward because they're looking at you, Mr. President. And look at him. He's still talking shit. Still.
Yeah. But
still.
He's and so I think that it's amazing. And what puzzles me, I guess some of the biggest thing that puzzles me is that people are actually supporting him.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And you know, people don't use this I don't know, this social media rhetoric that people use and say, oh, well, you just hate everyone who's a Republican. I don't hate anybody. No, I have no hate in my heart. But I will.
Bush?
But I have no hate in my heart. But I will seriously question anyone, and I have for a while. Not just because of this attempted coup, but just in general, for quite a few years, I've questioned why anybody would support that man.
Yeah, it is.
I have to question your judgment. I have to question your morality. I have to question your values if you support a man like that.
And I know we talk, like I said.
And that's not hatred.
People at work, they come to me and talk with me about these things because, you know, they know I'm married to an American and all, and they want my... They want to hear what you've said through me, I guess, in a way. And
they can do that by logging on to johnislandpod.com and,
that is true.
And contact me. There's an email address.
But
get on my YouTube ask some questions on these episodes.
That's true. But
anyway,
so what we see is we don't understand the thinking of people that support him. I guess what I can compare it with, those what do you call that, sect Moonies and those religious crazy things. Yeah. What do you call that sect? Cults. Yeah. I guess that is the closest thing I can think of that can somewhat explain the followers of Trump. That it's some kind of a cult. It is somehow brainwashed.
They are
by this crazy guy, and just thinking, just seeing that they, what is it? Didn't they pay attention in history class?
History repeats itself. You were talking about that yesterday. But see, here's the thing. I get it that people, I totally understand how he was able to get voted in as president of the United States. I get it. You have, and I'm not saying these people were righteous or in any way, but I understand how they were thinking. A lot of them, like I said, well, listen, you have to admit, a lot of white folks lost their doggone mind because President Obama was president. They lost their mind. Listen to me. So you have this group of people who feel very marginalized. You have this group of people who feel like nobody is listening to them. Right?
No, but okay, I hear you.
Come on. You have to acknowledge that group of people exists, that they've always been there, but they really gathered themselves together as a cohesive unit, if you will, when President Obama got voted in as president. You have to understand that group existed then, right? Okay. They were there. Yes or no? Yes.
Well,
listen.
I'm listening.
And all the time through President Obama's 8 years, they were in a minority. They were getting shouted down, justifiably shouted down, because I think they were a bunch of nut jobs. But nobody's hearing them. They have no representation. Again, Trump saw that. He saw that, and he played on it. And he inserted himself as the figurehead for this group of dissatisfied, disillusioned, unheard masses. 99.9% white folks. He puts himself in as their leader, and the movement is in motion.
I hear you.
I understand. I'm not saying I agree with it. I think it's horrible. I think it's manipulative of him. And I think it's horrible of some of the things that these people have said and done. But I understand why they are there. I understand their grievance. Their grievance has no foundation in fact. But in their minds, they are justified. They're on a crusade, if you will.
Yeah.
And when you're on a crusade, you become what? Fanatical. And Trump played on that.
Yeah. Yeah, the last part there, absolutely, I agree. The thing is that I still question people that because that's just a small group, but it's a lot of people that voted for him.
70-some thousand, yeah.
And millions, right?
Million, I'm sorry, 70-some million. But he never had even close to 50% of the nation.
No, I know that.
Him.
I know that.
Yeah.
But you guys have this crazy system.
Electoral college.
Yeah, that's just whatever. So, see now, you talk so that I lose my.
Hang with me. You want some coffee?
You having
What's this coffee I'm drinking?
Keto coffee.
Keto coffee.
Yeah.
Good Lord, kettle coffee. Keto coffee.
I didn't say kettle. I said keto.
Keto coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I'm giving you my gift that I got from my very best friend, Lena.
Hello, Lena.
That and
This is some good coffee though. I
like
don't
it?
like the taste, but it's definitely I'm about ready to jump out of my skin. I don't know if it's because I'm all worked up because of the material we're talking about, or if it's because of this coffee. But I feel like I want to jump out of my skin.
Yeah, I took that. I was drinking 1 cup this morning after a night shift.
You want the rest here?
Oh, that's all right. I don't want to drink your slobs. So anyway.
No, I don't. I don't know.
No. Here's the thing with the back to Trump and so on. What I don't get is that why is it? And this we talk about at work. Why is it so that so many Americans, citizens, don't see what's going on with this person?
What do you think
Trump?
is the answer?
Well, we don't really. I don't really know, but I'm wondering. Is it because they are not broadening their mind? Did they not pay attention in history class, or do they not remember history? Do they not look at more than Fox News?
That's a big part of the problem.
Here in Norway, we grew up with just one TV channel, NRK, but it was a common thing that everybody read several types of newspapers.
Sure.
And you see today we have more TV channels, and it's normal to watch both all the news on the different TV channels, like 3-4 different news channels, in order to get the different type of news.
Yeah.
But yes, there's still people who just click on Facebook and read the headlines there and feeds on those crazy theories.
Yeah.
But and that's one of the things that I'm thinking. It must be something like that. They don't get the whole picture. And here's another thing. You know what's been ringing in the back of my head ever since this Trump guy came to power? Is this movie we saw when I went to high school in the early 80s. It's called The Wave. It's a true story. You guys should go on YouTube and check it out. The Wave. It's a German teacher, history teacher. He was talking about Hitler and so on, and there was a question from the class. How did Hitler get that power? How did people follow his crazy thoughts? And so he did an experiment with the class where he started this little group. This or what do you call it? This little party called The Wave. With a few people, and then how that went.
So he started a political party just for a school project, right?
Right, just for the class, and then more and more followers came along, and what I think I've heard of this movie. Yeah, what those students did to their fellow students that were not following this teacher is an eye opener, and it is you can put it parallel to Trump, I think. Well, I think it's crazy.
When it comes to the question of why these people are following him, like I said, they've been unheard, or they felt unheard for so long. And then here comes a guy who not only hears them, he tells them, he gives them an agenda. He feeds them with all this ugliness, with all these lies and stuff, and then they are susceptible to that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that all Trump followers are stupid, that they're all mouth breathers, that they're all they have a criminal forehead or whatever. I don't want to say that.
I can say,
but I think that he has preyed on a segment of society that is quite susceptible, that is easily misled. They were prime for it, and he saw that. And now I don't want to give him too much credit, because I've said this quite a time.
He's not very smart.
You compare him to dictators and stuff, and one thing that dictators have in common is they're quite intelligent. They're quite savvy. He is not intelligent.
No,
He's about as
no, but
intelligent.
I'm
He
gonna
is about
stop
as
you right
intelligent
there.
as a rattlesnake.
But listen,
he has
no,
certain skills that serve him when he's going to commit his nefarious
But
acts.
listen.
But I think he lacks the intelligence to be an effective dictator, as we see now. For like I said, for all I know, he's impeached at this very moment.
But here's the
For
thing.
all I know, he's impeached. That impeachment will probably lead to a conviction. If Mitch McConnell does what it seems like he's going to do, he has said now overnight, he said that he believes that the president has committed impeachable offenses. If he gathers the Senate, and there is a vote right now, it looks like there are enough Republicans who will side with the Democrats that he can be convicted. He will be impeached, but he can now be convicted in the Senate and thereby removed from office.
Yeah, but you know what that is? He's trying to save his own butt. And they're doing this in 12 hours because they see things are crumbling around them.
I could care less.
But still,
I'll bake him a cake and serve and spoon feed it to him if he'll do this for the nation. I don't care. I don't care what Mitch McConnell's motivation is for now siding with the Democrats. I don't care. This man, president, this so-called
too
president.
many people in that political Republicans there that should just leave. Take
their hat and go, she says, which doesn't really fit in English. Whatever. Anyway, but we're not done yet because there's more and more talk of, at least in the House.
But back to the dictatorship.
Listen to me. There's more and more talk in the House that they will do something to at least censor, whatever, to get in trouble, to get these Republicans. I'm sorry, people. I am not a political pundit, so I don't know that political pundit language. They're going to at least censure. They're going to put some sort of consequences on these Republicans who backed Trump with his lies about the election results, which led to these people rising up and trying to take over the government. So there looks like there might be some consequences for these Republicans. It should be,
because it's a danger. It's a danger to the nation.
Dangerous.
It's a danger to the world.
Yes.
That they are so numb in their head that they just follow him like a puppy and don't think for themselves and stand up, Do the right thing. That's all. Do the right thing.
Great film by Spike Lee.
Exactly. That's why I said it. Dictator. You know what? The thing with Trump is that somehow throughout these years, he has been able to get people around him that he says, I want this, and they do. And that's he started with his mother, I want this, and his mother gave him, or father gave him, right? And that's how he gets his power, with money, with this, that, and the other. He's not smart enough to do all these criminal things. I would think that he's done throughout the years with business and whatnot. He have some people around him that helps him with that. And the same thing is in the government. He has people around him that are enablers. They fix things for him.
Sure.
And that's how...
There's some people that are just as guilty as he is in all of this because they have enabled and supported him.
If he could, if it hadn't been that you guys actually do have a constitution that forbid anyone to take over the government, and that there are some strong Democrats that are putting their foot down, so to speak, and hopefully they're getting a few Republicans that are now afraid of their legacy. That's why they're saying, yes, let's impeach him.
But that's not going to fix their legacy. If
they're trying. I'm not saying...
they should know that it's not going to work.
Hear me out. The thing is that see, now you threw me off again.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on, John.
If your thoughts and what you're about to say is based on...
No, it was a lot, because I've been sitting here waiting for a long
preach,
time.
Girl. Go on.
Whatever.
Go on.
Point is that that if he could, he would have been a dictator. He would have taken over the country and just dictate.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen in the United States. There are systems that are still in place.
Exactly, that's what I said.
In these systems, although we have been shaken, we are not shattered. I just can't get past these people who still support him, these enablers and these supporters. I don't understand where they're coming from. Have they thought, can you still support this man? When you think, can you imagine that when these tens of thousands of people are marching on the Capitol, when they're actually entering the Capitol, can you not imagine that there could have been some sort of foreign agent that was in this group that actually got into the halls of our Congress?
Mm-hmm. Stealing information?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I was thinking, what kind of effort now has to be put in place to check for listening devices, for surveillance devices that could have been planted in there?
Good point.
Little things like that. Little things. things like that.
Yeah.
And you call yourself a patriot? You call yourself a freaking patriot, but you stand behind what happened on the 6th of January, 2021, but you call yourself a patriot. You cannot imagine that a foreign agent could have, infiltrated, been in this crowd and infiltrated our Congress. There could be listening devices there. They could have stolen information.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I know, it's so tiring.
You support you support this man when you have congressmen and women saying that they were putting in calls to the White House begging Trump to come on TV to denounce the violence that was going on, to denounce this this attempted coup. They were begging him to send in the National Guard, and he didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
But you support this man and you call yourself a patriot? GTFOH. That's what I say. Get the
okay, I get it.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying not to swear.
I have to think a little.
Yeah. So, I don't understand it. And there's a difference. And let me be clear. I see a difference between a MAGA supporter and a MAGA terrorist. I do see a difference. I have no patience. I have no truck with a MAGA terrorist. You should be treated as such. Keyword terrorist. A MAGA supporter, I just think you're disillusioned, dangerously disillusioned. I do believe there are people who still support Trump, but they are so embedded in his sea of lies and propaganda dogma. I believe that they truly don't understand that they're on the wrong side of history, that they are to the detriment of the United States. I truly believe there are people who don't understand that because they're so deep in the propaganda.
I was just thinking, not listening, just thinking.
Of course.
Can you imagine? Because there's so many people or Trumpers saying, with this Obamacare, that, that's socialism, dangerous. We don't want socialism. Norway is a socialist country. I remember my when I went to high school in the States, the teacher, we were talking about the Soviet Union, the United States of America, and Norway. And there was a kid that asked, well, what's the difference between Norway and United States? So... and he had a very good answer. He said, well, the Soviet Union is red, the United States is blue, and Norway is pink. I thought that was a pretty good answer. But hold on. And the thing is that I could, even though we are socialists and so on, and people are afraid of that, or some people in the States are afraid of that, what happened in the States on the 6th of January would never happen in Norway. I don't think people here could imagine that, somebody going in.
I hear you, but before, on the 5th of January, most of America could never have imagined that happening in America.
You know what, though?
I get it.
They do. They
but
should. I'm sure. No. Yeah, hold on. What I want to correct that.
She's waving her stubby finger in my face.
Didn't I say that man is going to do something. He's trying to take over.
Yeah, but
There's
I said
something.
it too.
Yeah.
I said it too.
So of course you could imagine that. I could imagine that the moment he was president of the United States.
That's you and I. And
but we are not. We're just a normal person.
But I'm telling you that a lot of Americans could never have imagined. At least every Trump supporter could never have imagined that he would do something like this. Okay, so that's a big portion of America. But I want to correct something. You say you keep saying Norway. We're a socialist country. We're a socialist country. Say it right. Social democracy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because Venezuela is a socialist country.
Oh, okay.
Norway is a social democracy, and the key word in that is democracy.
Democracy. Oh, very democracy.
And the right, Trump and his enablers, Republicans, have somehow managed to indoctrinate a large portion of America against that word socialism. They've put a new definition on it. Because socialism is not communism. Socialism is bailing out banks, bailing out businesses, $2,000 checks to citizens. Those are examples of socialism. Okay? Is that bad? Well, there's a political debate about whether these businesses should be bailed out. There's a political debate about that. There can even be a political debate for and against the $2,000 stimulus check given to people. My point is that those are examples of socialism, and it's not this raging, horned devil that's looming over the nation. That is not what socialism is. There are many socialistic aspects to that are embedded in the United States government and our policy and our services that we give to our citizens. But it's propaganda. It's the willful misleading of the American people that has led to this evil word, socialism.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Well said, John Reese.
Am I doing good, Snoop? Tell me I'm doing good.
Yes, you are. You're doing good.
I keep thinking of Saving Private Ryan at the end when it went back to the current time when Private Ryan was an old man and he's standing at the grave and his wife comes up to comfort him and he says, "Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I've lived right."
I don't remember that.
Well,
maybe we need to watch that movie again.
You remember Saving Private Ryan? It began with him as an old man standing at the grave at the cemetery.
Right.
And then he slowly faded into what was happening in World War II. And then at the end, after they saved Private Ryan, and at the end, it faded back to him standing with his wife and family at the grave.
Okay.
Because remember when Tom Hanks died? Remember when Tom Hanks died and he grabbed Private Ryan, which was Matt Damon, and pulled him into him, and he said, "Earn this. Earn this." And then he died. Meaning, all these people who were killed, all these people, me, all of my soldiers in my unit were killed to save you, to come here to save you. Right? Yeah. So he says, "Earn this." And then it fades into the present when Private Ryan is the old man standing there, and he's thinking, "Oh my gosh, did I earn this? Did I live my life good enough to where I deserve?" Yeah. And his wife comes up beside him, and he said, "I can't believe we used so much time on this for me to explain this to you." Anyway, so his wife comes up beside him, and he says, "Tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I've lived."
What did she say?
"Oh, sweetheart," or whatever. Oh, yeah, of course. I don't know. You could be her. So tell me I'm a good man. Tell me I've done good.
Oh, sweetheart, you're so good. You've always been good. You've always done your best, and you're very smart.
See, I think you should be a writer, because that would have sounded a lot better on Saving Private Ryan than whatever she said. I think she said, "Yeah, of course. Now stop being a jerk. Let's get out of here. It's cold."
It's cold. Yeah, whatever. Oh, okay.
I don't know. So this was my episode. I've waited. I waited to do this episode. I don't know whether it was good for the podcast or bad for the podcast to wait, but it was good for me. I needed to think this through. I needed to make sure I had the facts. And that's part of the problem as well. There was constantly new information, new videos, new documentation of what happened during the coup attempt that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't talk about this now because there's more information coming.
And there's more coming because they said this guy said today on CNN, remember that
that U.S. attorney is a badass, that short little guy. He's prior military, I believe. Was it Navy intelligence officer who knows his stuff, and he's a go-getter. And he said so clearly during that press conference last night, he said, we have thousands of charges that need to come down. We have hundreds of people who will be charged. And he looked right in that camera and he said, if you were in that Capitol building, we will find you and you will be arrested. There's no doubt. And I believe that guy.
Yeah. So that's good.
What do you think is going to happen? They're going to impeach him in the House, right? And then what? What do you think is going to happen?
You know what?
Snoopy says.
I think that he's not done. I think that his followers are not done. I think there's going to be attempt of killing Biden and Kamala Harris. I think the Democrats, especially Democrats in high positions, should be guarded very carefully.
Metal detectors in Congress now.
Well, yeah, well, you know what? I think we haven't seen everything yet, and
no, that U.S. attorney said, "Get ready." He says, "You will be appalled when you see everything that we have seen so far about what happened that day." He said that
because I think that Trump, he's not going to stop if he finds anywhere to put his things out through his wife's Facebook, son's Facebook, whatever, he will do that because in his world, he has done everything right.
But here's a thread that I think you're missing. I ask, what do you think will happen? Let me tell you what I think will happen. I think he'll be impeached in the House. Eventually he'll be convicted in the Senate because if Mitch McConnell does not convene the Senate, then we're going to get a new Senate after the 20th, on the 20th.
And they will.
And eventually they will get this impeachment placed before them. They will have their trial. He will be convicted. That will bar him from ever being able to run for office. Yeah. He could not even run for local dog catcher.
No,
once he's convicted.
The thing is,
let me tell you to hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's going to happen. This investigation is going to continue. More and more people are going to be arrested. I think we're going to see that not only were there Republican senators and congressmen and women who helped to instigate this riot and this attempted overthrow, this coup attempt. Not only were they instigators, but I think we're going to also see that they were active participants. I think there's going to be documented instances of congressmen and women, Republicans, who actually helped facilitate this actively, not just with words, but actively helped to facilitate this. I think that's going to come out. I don't think that's going to be tolerated legally or politically. And I think we're going to see some arrests of congresspeople,
I hope
senators and congressmen and women. I think we're going to see that. I think it's going to be a process, and I think there will be more violence, but I think there are going to be severe consequences for this. For Trump, for anyone else who facilitated this. It's going to happen. It's going to take a little time, but it's going to happen.
But see, he has so many other criminal charges waiting for him.
Sure he does. He also has that. And now I think because of what he has done now, because of this attempted coup that he facilitated, that he instigated, I believe that some of these state charges and other charges that he has, it's going to lead them to be less lenient when it comes to sentencing time after a conviction.
Yeah, but then also he's he owes what was it when they were talking about his taxes this last
Deutsche
time?
Bank.
Is it Deutsche Bank that he owes
like $400
million?
Yep. Well, they've already distanced themselves from it. They've already said that they want to cut all ties, and I imagine that they cut all ties except for the $400 million that he owes them.
Yeah.
So in other words, they're not going to give him a break. Is that what you were getting at? They're not going to give him any.
Yeah. Not only that, I think that Trump will move out of the United States. He will find a country like Saudi Arabia,
Russia,
and that's where he's going to live, and so that he doesn't have to face the court. And he will just say that, because of the press was following him and being
so you think on the 20th? You think on the 20th, when he's no longer president, you think he's going to jump a plane and leave immediately?
I wouldn't be surprised.
But by him doing that, he's removing himself from the very political arena that sustains him, that gives him purpose and status.
No. You heard about Facebook and those things?
But he's not on Facebook.
No, but he's
not on Twitter.
He will find other ways of putting his messages out there and have his followers and
well, it ain't going to be on Parler, that's for sure.
No, but in order for him to live, he needs people to look up to him, to crawl for him, and think that he's like the worst.
So what do you think it's going to do to him when he's no longer president? When he is impeached,
he's very dangerous.
Listen to me. You're saying that he needs these things to sustain him.
Yeah.
He needs that status to live, to breathe, to function. But what do you think it's going to do to him when he is no longer president, no longer has access to money, no longer has a platform from which he can share all of this foolishness, and he has criminal charges on him that he can't get out of?
That's the problem. He will not.
I think it's going to suck the life out of him.
Yeah, but listen, I hope I'm very wrong. But the danger is that he's going to do something before the 20th. Sure,
and that is all the more reason why Mike Pence should quit being a coward and invoke the 25th Amendment. Yeah. And that is all the more reason why Mitch McConnell should go all in and say that, hey, I'm convening the Senate. Although to Mitch's defense, am I defending Mitch McConnell? Oof.
No. I
get it that he maybe I can understand him not announcing that he's going to go all in for an impeachment and conviction of Trump, because he may be concerned about how Trump will react to that. So let me just put myself in Mitch McConnell's head for a minute. Hold on, let me spray myself down with disinfectant first. Okay, now I'm in Mitch McConnell's head. I'm thinking...
Disinfect you afterwards, yeah.
That's probably the most important thing. I'm thinking that... can you say body condom? I'm thinking that... I'm thinking that Mitch is thinking, okay, let the Democrats impeach him. Mm-hmm. Let them send the articles. Maybe he has a deal under the table with Nancy Pelosi. Let them send the articles of impeachment to Congress. As soon as they do that, then I will send it to the Senate, rather. Then I will reconvene the Senate and will very quickly convict him. And that will give Trump less time to plan.
Something crazy.
I'm thinking that that could possibly be a thought that Mitch McConnell is having.
Yep. That could very well be. And
tell me I'm smart.
Also,
tell me I'm a good man.
You and I have been talking about this.
Tell me I'm a good man.
I've said this a long time ago, John. So the thing is
I'm just goofing on the Private Ryan thing. You don't hear the humor in that?
No. So see, you threw me off. I'm feeling the night shift sneaking in my head very much. I'm so
kick
tired.
It out. Let's keep going. I think that's what Mitch McConnell may be thinking.
Yeah, and it's I think Trump is gonna pardon
himself.
He's going to pardon himself. He's going to pardon all the kids. He's going to pardon all these people that are now arrested. I would not be surprised, not a second, if he did that, if he pardoned all these fine people. Go in peace
If
with
he
love.
does that,
I love you guys. That's what he said.
If
Remember?
he does that, and there are some politicians who are talking about that, if he does that, think about what that will do. That will just enrage and embolden all of the Democrats and even a huge swath of the Republicans. That will enrage them to the point where there will be no mercy when it comes to their efforts to bring him down and close him off.
But do you really think that he understands that he is capable of seeing that part? He doesn't. He's like a child. They
Yeah,
took
but that
his,
doesn't take away the fact.
Yeah, but he's like a child. They took the goodie bag away from him, so he's having a rage.
Sure, but
That's how he is.
But that doesn't take away the fact that if he puts some blanket pardon, I don't know the legality of that, but if he puts some blanket pardon on all of the people who were in the Capitol building, all that's going to do is it's going to give him fewer and fewer allies on the Republican side of things, which will then raise the effort. It will strengthen the effort to impeach and convict him and close him out of the political arena. It will also strengthen the willpower to engage in any other legal avenues against him.
Absolutely.
So
normal people will see that.
So what I'm
He
saying,
won't.
I know that, but what I'm saying is that if he does that, it's not really that bad of a thing. And you have to remember, there are literally hundreds of people who haven't even been charged yet. How is he gonna pardon people that whom he has no idea?
Didn't he just try to pardon his kids and there was no charges on them?
He didn't try to do any. No.
Yes,
he has not approached,
it was on
he
the
has not
news.
approached the issue of pardoning his children. There's speculation about whether or not he will do that, but he has not tried to pardon his children. He'll make a decision to pardon them or he won't. He probably will. But again, there's a lot of legal issues because the question or the issue of him pardoning himself has not been resolved. There's a lot of speculation about whether or not that is legal. So he may not be able to pardon himself.
I think that's crazy. That's a speculation whether or not that's illegal.
Isn't that
that's
something?
Just what is this?
And for you supporters of this maniac, if he pardons himself and his children and other supporters, what does that say? Because if he's pardoning them, that means that they are aware of their own criminal activity. And you support that? Do you support the criminal activity of the president?
I think that it is time for the new president and the American people to take a good look at that Constitution of yours and clean up. Do some cleaning up.
The Constitution is far from flawless.
Yeah, do some cleaning up.
We've written amendments before, so now is the time.
This is it's not good. It's a danger to the whole world the way things are now in the States.
It is.
It is dangerous times. And I guess I'm glad we're not planning on going to the United States.
I have no
anytime
desire.
soon.
I miss my family, but I have no desire to go back to the States. I just don't want to do it.
I think I'm going to plan our next vacation to Thailand instead.
Oh boy, we could have a discussion there. But if it's not a rioting mob that could kill us, it's the doggone COVID situation that would kill us if we were to travel back to the States now. It's just crazy. And for all of you who think it's fake and all that, go back a few months when Fauci and others were saying that by the end of January we will probably be looking at around 400,000 deaths. Hello, where are we now? We're coming up on the end of January, and we're coming up on 400,000 deaths. Get your head straight, people. Get the propaganda, get the tribalism out of your heads, and start thinking like you want to be a patriot. Then think like a patriot. All for one and one for all. Aren't we one nation? Don't you care about your fellow Americans?
Yeah. What is all this thing? I don't know if they do it anymore, but when I was in high school in the States, we had to pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
for which it stands,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I still remember that. We used to say that in school all the time.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know it I remember that. That was.
What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah, that was strange because I was sitting. I was sitting down. We were in the morning, and then this thing came over the speaker, and people stood up and put their hand on their chest, and I was just sitting there, and they were like,
thought everybody was having a heart attack or something.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there. Oh, get up. I said, what? Why? I was just weird.
Well,
but
you still are.
But then again, when I went to school here in Norway.
They've taken that out of the schools now.
Oh, they have?
No, they don't do that anymore.
Okay. Why?
Some rich white lady complained and got it taken away.
Really?
Isn't that amazing that that's actually believable, what I just said?
Yeah, it is.
No, I don't know. At some point, there was some sort of Supreme Court decision about that. To where it got taken out. Somebody, whatever, some sort of court case. It's no longer done though.
Yeah.
I had no problem doing it when I was a kid. I would have no problem if it was done now. But I also would have no problem for people, with people who didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would not have a problem with that.
Right, because it is the freedom of speech in that country, isn't it?
That's what they say.
Yeah. I'm not so sure.
But that whole debate has gotten out of control because blocking that maniac and others like him, blocking them from Twitter is not infringing upon their First Amendment rights at all. Yeah. It is not he can call a press conference anytime he wants. He can start a podcast. Yeah. Donald Trump, you can guest on my podcast. Maybe I'll inspire you to start a podcast. Oh my God, can you imagine that?
Oh gosh, I can't stand his voice. I can't stand his looks. I can't stand it. Oof. It's absolutely incredible that people voted for him.
Yeah, I don't get it. Personally, I will never claim a bigot. I will never claim a seditionist. I will never claim a racist. I cannot respect that man. I don't respect that man. Never did.
Nope.
I think he is a stain on the office of the president of the United States.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing that really, really puzzled me. Okay. A lot of these conservatives, especially women conservatives, they are so godly, so God this and that and the other.
Religious,
and go to church like 50 times a week and put himself up on a high next to God.
Yeah.
So, and then they vote for him when they could hear him saying. Grab them. I just grabbed them.
Wait, what?
You know what I'm saying. I can't say that word. I'm too sensitive.
Please. But you're right. Yeah, how can they? Yeah,
how can they vote for something like that? And he's what did he do with that Corinthian?
2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians.
I tried so hard to work that into my stand-up act, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out how to make that funnier than what it was.
Yeah.
And here he is at this gathering. I can't remember the name of the
some
official
bishops,
function, but it was some sort of thing with religious leaders, and a luncheon or a dinner with religious leaders. He gets up there, and as it says, 2 Corinthians.
Yeah,
and it's just jaw-droppingly ignorant, obvious that this man knows nothing of the Bible, of religion, of spirituality. He knows nothing of it.
He doesn't care.
Doesn't care for it at all.
Because he is what? What did he do on that in front of the helicopter? He raised his arms.
I am the chosen one.
I am the chosen one. Exactly.
How blasphemous can you get?
And still, these so-called Christians, I say so-called, because I don't think you are a true Christian when you can vote for somebody like that and support somebody like that that are so evil.
I'll never question a person's spirituality. I'll never do that. But I will. But I do wonder why certain people don't question it themselves. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, that's what you're more diplomatic than me. I just say it like it is.
That's why you got no friends, Snoop.
Well, I got one friend.
Who? Oh,
Lena.
Lena.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Don't put that on me, okay?
Yeah.
I love you, but I got to distance myself a little bit.
No, I got 2 friends, though. 3 friends.
You don't need any more than that, do you? You're
Nope.
fine.
I'm fine. You know?
You have my love to keep you warm at night.
No, the thing
You don't
is,
need much more than
but that
that.
we can talk about some other time. Friendship, that's a very interesting subject.
Sure it is.
It
I'm afraid
is.
to touch it, though. I'm afraid to touch that subject.
I'm not. Because I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know me. I do care. But yeah, I guess
I'm afraid to touch that subject.
Live
though.
and learn. Live and learn.
Should I have talked about all of this stuff about the about Trump and this these acts of sedition and this coup attempt? Should I have talked about it the day of? Was I wrong?
Probably.
Was I wrong for waiting so long?
Probably.
Why?
Because people get tired very quickly. I'm dead tired right now. I can't think straight. But that's because I work all night long.
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to work. Nighttime. And I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
You don't even know what you're talking about now, do you?
No. I think I need to...
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for listening. Let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I have some thoughts about what I think may happen. I shared those with you, but I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen?
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
And I know you don't like it.
Oh, boy.
But I'm going to say it anyway.
Go on.
You know what also puzzles me about Trump? That nobody has shot him yet. You know? That's
Okay, she did not say that. Don't say stuff like that on my podcast.
No, but
She's not saying that someone should. She's wondering why nobody has. That's all. Don't,
because...
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not.
no.
That's, you, I don't have.
Okay,
I don't have a
slap
lawyer.
back.
I don't have a lawyer. Okay, so don't be saying stuff like that.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay.
No, as I said, and as you said, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's fascinating that people still follow that man.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing of equivalating, there is no other side. There's no both sides thing anymore. We have one side, one person and his followers, his minions, who committed these atrocities on the 6th of January, 2021. And then what's the other side? What is the opposite of that? What is the equivalent of that? Nothing. It doesn't exist.
I think that the
It doesn't
Republicans
exist.
have a big job to do. They need to clean up their act, basically, and kind of regroup and start over again. I think that's the only thing I would think that could really
And
save them.
That's why they need to impeach and convict Trump.
People. And
Trump.
people.
I'm saying Trump because he is the head of all this. They need to cut off the head.
Of course, but they need to cut off the shoulders too.
They need to cut off the head and expel him from their party and then start over.
Yeah, but
if they're smart, that's what they'll do.
They need to cut off his head and his arms.
Well, that's just mean.
No, but you see the...
There's federal crimes for that. It's called defacing a corpse. Is that what you're into? Is that what you're into?
Do the arms
Really?
first and then the head.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh! No, okay, I see that.
No.
I need to go.
No, but I truly don't understand people who follow him. I don't. I've said enough on that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know what my next. We'll see what I come up with on Sunday. It's going to be a more lighthearted podcast that I can promise you.
And it would not be included me.
I don't want you on. I don't want this to be the.
No, because I can't. I need to take a break.
Oh boy, she's worn out. I'm too much for you. Is that what it is?
No.
Okay, I'm not too much for her. What is that look on your face? What is that?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, I don't either. Okay, anyway, now don't interrupt me. See, I was trying to sign off earlier, and you said, "Oh, and here's another thing."
Isn't that just
No, I didn't lose my thought. My
sure
line of
you
thought.
did.
No, I
You
didn't.
sure
I was
did.
trying to sign off earlier, and then you came with some more stuff.
You were talking about
Are you
something,
finished?
and now
Anything else you want to say? Anything else?
You can't remember.
Anything else you want to say?
No, you can't remember what you were going to say now.
Yes, I can. I was going to sign off.
No, but you were in the thread. You were talking about
wasn't
something.
in a thread?
Yeah, sure you were.
I was ready to sign off, and then you said you had something else you wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Are you finished?
Isn't that annoying?
No, not at all. I am completely in charge.
Oh my gosh, you're not. You guys just wait until he turns the recording button off now and see.
Happen?
We'll see who is in charge.
I was going to say something. Trying to keep this from being rated R, rated X. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Snoopy?
Oh, I'm sure I do. But point is, I hope you get your Norwegian citizenship pretty quick.
I'm still struggling with that. I don't know that I really want to do it, but maybe it's necessary. That's where I am. That's where I am when it comes to that. I don't want to do it, but maybe it's necessary. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
We'll see.
There's a lot of Americans here with dual citizenship.
Smart.
Norwegian and American citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's quite surreal. It's like a dream, a bad dream, a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. Right, it's if you take yourself back into the 1980s, or I can take myself back to the 1980s, where
to the 1980s.
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 Yeah. What did I say? 90s?
1980s.
Okay.
You say that all the time. I knew exactly what you meant, but I just wanted to call you out on it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Snoopy.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so America was like the dream, the land of opportunity.
It was
the
shining city on a hill.
It was like, oh, I just want to go to America. I just want to go there. You know, it was like paradise, and everything was so good there.
I remember you talking about when you traveled and you went to Venice Beach and you're, California and Los Angeles, and then New York City and Chicago and America, and you were starstruck.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and it's it was so good. People were so
1987,
nice.
88, yeah.
No, when I traveled around was 1989.
89. Yeah.
But I was there before, and I was, and even before that, before I went to the United States, I was like, wow, that's like the.
So is that wow factor gone?
Oh yeah. That's the thing, and it's sad. It is really, really sad because I think the world or a lot of people in the world need something to look up to. Like
America played that part. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was an inspirational aspect to the greater society of the world.
It was.
And it's gone, and it is sad. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, I don't get into this thing where I hear a lot of expats, Americans living here in Norway, oh, I'm ashamed to be an American. No, I'm not ashamed to be an American because I know what it means to be an American, and of that I am not ashamed.
Right.
So I don't go that far, but you have to admit, I have to admit that this image of a shining city on a hill, this inspirational experiment that is the United States, that image is gone, I blame one man.
Yep.
I blame one man for that. And if you disagree with me, great, that's fine. I invite you to come onto this podcast, and I'd love to talk with you about it.
There you go.
You know how to find me.
There you go.
Put a comment on the YouTube thread. Send me an email at john@johnallenpod.com. Go on my website, John Allen. Oh, what's my website? www.johnallenpod.com. Let me know. You disagree? You want to talk about it? Hey, I'm here. Let's talk. See, I don't play into that us versus them thing. I think I question your thought process if you still support this man, but I don't hate you.
No, it's actually it's a kind of fascinating.
I'm quite curious.
Fascinating.
I am. I'm quite curious. I want to know the workings of how do you rationalize that. I would love to talk to someone about that.
Yeah, it is fascinating, and that's another thing. I didn't say that when we've been talking now, but throughout these last 5 years, that includes, of course, his campaign. It fascinates me when I hear the mumble bumble that comes out of that man's mouth.
Mumble bumble.
And
I hear the mumbo jumbo. You hear the mumble bumble.
Exactly.
Yeah. Continue.
Just the jello that comes out of his mouth, and it's fascinating that people are clapping for it. That they are agreeing with. What are they agreeing with? Jello? Nothing. There's and it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating. See, but I'm a little different. I know exactly what they're agreeing with. They're agreeing with his racist undertones. They're agreeing with his totalitarian viewpoints. They're agreeing with and accepting his arrogance, his closed-mindedness and his short-sightedness. They are agreeing with that. But so I know what they're agreeing with.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated by the very fact that they are agreeing with it.
Yeah.
And I would love to know their thought process.
But they don't. They would never admit what you just said, that they're agreeing about these things.
And
I'm not sure if they know that themselves.
Well, that's a conversation I would like to have with one of them.
Right. But I'm fascinated.
Yeah, me too.
And I also, another thing that fascinates me, that there's people here in Norway, people I know that are supporting him, people that I know that they grew up here, they born and raised here in Norway, and
with all of its freedoms
and they don't
and privileges.
See, and they don't see.
Yep, it's amazing.
And they say, oh, but he has done so much good. So much is better. America is much better. The economy is so much better after Trump came in, and he has done so much and created so many jobs. And everybody says that they never had it better in America, living in America, than what they have now. It's just fascinating. Where do they have it from?
If you have this, if the stock market is your main source of income in the United States, yeah, you've never had it better. But how many people are in that little club?
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of America, these are some of the worst times that anybody has seen since the Great Depression.
How many coal mines has he opened?
And that is a fact. So if you want to base his success on the financial situation of the top 1%, man, he is your guy. Mm-hmm. He's your guy.
Didn't he say that he was going to reopen the coal mines?
That's what he said.
Has he done it?
Nope.
Okay. And either way, and that's good, of course, because that's such a pollution, and that's another thing, with the environment and the global warming and all that stuff that he denies. A lot of people denies, unfortunately.
It's sad.
It is. It's very sad.
How many minutes are on the timer over there?
1:22. That's enough.
But I tried to sign off at about 1:05. I kept trying to sign off.
Now I'm bumbling, I guess.
I know.
No, I'm not.
I've tried twice.
Something.
I've tried twice to sign
Isn't
off,
that
but
frustrating?
you kept talking. No, not at all.
Okay.
You're talking to the guy who spoke for 4 hours with Espen Jørgensen
that's right.
on my podcast.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm down for more time.
I know you're cool.
COOL.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
are you finished?
I'm done. I need
sure?
to crawl down in the garage and see if I can move my.
You gonna go train?
Yeah.
In this house, as for me in my house, we will train, not work out. Okay, listen, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Wow, I had 100 episodes last year, and it wasn't even a full calendar year for the podcast. Starting in March, from March to the 31st of December, I had 100 episodes. So thank you all for motivating me and keeping me focused. Thank you for that. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please contact me. Please let me hear what you think. Send me an email at john@johnallenpod.com. Check out my website, www.johnallenpod. That's JOHNALANPOD.com. Help me boost my YouTube channel. Get in there, subscribe, click on the little bell. Stop rattling the microphone, Snoop. Click on the little bell. Like my episodes, like my page. Put comments on my YouTube. Let's see if we can make that channel grow. That's what I want to do. Are you with me? Are you with me? Thank you for listening. This has been the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. Bye, everybody.
Thank you and goodbye.